The night was too quiet. Not the peaceful kind of quiet, but the kind that made your skin crawl, the kind that whispered something was wrong but didn't tell you what. Sergeant Ava Carter felt it the moment her boots touched the dry, uneven ground. She paused, just for a second. Her squad moved ahead in perfect formation, shadows blending into shadows, weapons steady, eyes scanning. They were deep inside enemy territory, far beyond where backup could reach quickly. Every step forward was a risk, but Ava's instincts had never lied to her before, and right now they were screaming. "Move, Carter," whispered her team leader through the comms. Ava snapped back into motion, pushing the feeling aside. This was a mission, not a guessing game. They had a job to do: gather intel, stay undetected, and get out. Simple. At least, it was supposed to be. The air felt heavy. Even the wind had stopped moving. No insects, no distant animal sounds, just silence. Too perfect. Ava tightened her grip on her rifle, her eyes scanning the darkness. Something wasn't right. She could feel it deep in her chest, like a warning she couldn't ignore. Then, she stopped again. This time, she didn't move. "Hold," she whispered. The squad froze instantly. Ava crouched low, her eyes narrowing as she looked ahead. The terrain looked normal: rocks, dry grass, scattered debris, but something about it felt staged, like a setup. "Do you see that?" she murmured. Before anyone could respond, boom! The ground exploded beneath them. A deafening blast ripped through the silence, throwing bodies into the air like rag dolls. Fire and dirt filled the sky as the shock waves slammed into Ava, knocking her off her feet. Her ears rang violently, her vision blurred. For a moment, she couldn't hear anything, just a high-pitched ringing. Then sound came crashing back all at once. Gunfire, screaming, chaos. "Ambush! Ambush!" someone shouted, but it was already too late. Enemy forces opened fire from every direction. Muzzle flashes lit up the darkness like strobe lights. Bullets tore through the air, cutting down everything in their path. Ava struggled to push herself up, her body aching, her head spinning. She grabbed her rifle, instincts taking over. "Take cover," she yelled, though she wasn't sure anyone could hear her. Explosions erupted around them, one after another, turning the battlefield into a storm of fire and destruction. Her squad fought back, returning fire, trying to regroup, but they were completely surrounded. This wasn't just an ambush. It was planned, precise, deadly. Ava spotted one of her teammates go down just a few feet away. Another screamed for help before the sound was cut short by gunfire. Her heart pounded harder, faster, louder. She fired back, hitting a target in the distance, then moved quickly behind a chunk of broken rock for cover. Bullets slammed into the stone, sending sharp fragments flying past her face. She peeked out. Too many enemies, way too many. They were outnumbered. Ava's breathing became heavy, uneven. Her mind raced, trying to find a way out of something that didn't have an exit. "Fall back," someone shouted over the comms, but the signal was breaking. Static filled her ears. "Can't hold, need backup." Then, silence. The radio went dead. She tapped it quickly. Nothing. No, come on," she muttered. Another explosion hit nearby, throwing her sideways. Her rifle slipped from her hands as she slammed into the ground hard. Pain shot through her body. Everything spun again. For a few seconds, she couldn't move, couldn't think, couldn't breathe. Then, slowly, painfully, she forced herself up. Her vision cleared just enough to see the battlefield, and what she saw made her freeze. Bodies, still, silent. Her team, gone. The gunfire had stopped. The explosions faded. All that remained was smoke drifting through the air and an eerie, terrifying silence. Ava's chest tightened. "No," she whispered. She looked around desperately, hoping, praying to see someone move. But no one did. She was alone, completely alone. Her hands trembled slightly as the reality hit her all at once. The mission had failed, her team had been wiped out, and she was stuck deep behind enemy lines with no support, no communication, and no way out. Her breathing became shallow, Panic tried to creep in, but Ava forced it down, hard. This wasn't the time to break. This was the time to survive. She quickly grabbed her rifle and checked it. Still functional. She checked her gear. Low on ammunition, some supplies damaged, but enough to last, maybe, if she was careful, if she was smart, if she stayed alive. Then she heard it. Voices. Distant at first, then closer. Enemy soldiers. They were sweeping the area, looking for survivors. Ava's heart skipped a beat. Instinct took over instantly. She dropped low and crawled toward a pile of debris, pulling herself into the shadows. Her movements were slow, controlled, silent. Every second felt like an hour. The voices grew louder, boots crunching against the ground, metal clinking, weapons ready. Ava pressed herself flat against the dirt, barely breathing. Her fingers tightened around her rifle, ready, but she knew one shot would give her position away, and that would be the end. The soldier holding the flashlight took a step forward. Ava's fingers slowly moved toward the trigger, her muscles tensed, ready, prepared to fight, prepared to die if she had to. The soldier leaned in slightly, the light shifted, paused, then moved away. Ava didn't move, didn't breathe, didn't blink. Seconds passed, then minutes. The voices slowly faded into the distance. The footsteps disappeared. The light vanished. But Ava stayed exactly where she was, frozen, waiting, because she knew this wasn't over, not even close. Finally, after what felt like forever, she allowed herself to take a slow, silent breath. Her body relaxed just slightly, but her eyes, they were different now, stronger, colder, focused. This wasn't a mission anymore. This was survival. And deep down, Ava Carter made a decision in that moment. She wasn't going to die out here, no matter what it took. The click of the safety echoed in Ava's ears like thunder. She didn't turn, didn't breathe. Her entire body froze as her mind raced through possibilities. Too close. Whoever was behind her was close enough to kill her before she could even react. Slowly, carefully, Ava's grip tightened around her rifle. One chance. That's all she would get. The faint sound of boots shifted behind her. Gravel crunched under weight. The enemy soldier was adjusting position, maybe aiming, maybe preparing to pull the trigger. Ava's pulse hammered violently. Now, she moved. In one explosive motion, Ava rolled sideways, bringing her rifle up as she twisted her body. A shot rang out, loud, sharp, barely missing her head as it tore into the ground where she had been seconds before. Ava fired back instantly. 2 shots. Precise. The soldier dropped. Silence crashed down again. Ava didn't stop to look. She was already moving, because one shot meant one thing. They knew. Contact! Distant voices shouted, and just like that, the hunt was back on. Ava ran. Through rocks, through brush, through darkness that now felt alive with danger. Her boots hit the ground hard, fast, controlled, but her breathing was getting heavier. Her body was already exhausted from the ambush, and now she was burning what little energy she had left. Behind her, shouts, footsteps. They were coming. Fast. Ava turned sharply, sliding down a slope and ducking behind a fallen tree. She quickly scanned her surroundings. No clear escape path, no safe cover. Think. Think. Her eyes locked onto something ahead. A narrow drop, and beyond it, a river. Fast-moving, dangerous, but it was something. Gunfire erupted again, bullets slamming into the wood above her head, splintering it apart. She didn't hesitate. Ava broke from cover and sprinted. The enemy soldiers shouted as they saw her. "Stop her!" More gunfire. Closer now. Ava pushed harder, ignoring the pain in her legs, the burning in her lungs. The edge of the drop came into view. No time to think. No time to doubt. She jumped. The fall knocked the air out of her lungs. Then, ice. The freezing water swallowed her whole, dragging her under instantly. The current was stronger than she expected, pulling her down, spinning her, disorienting her completely. Her rifle slipped from her grasp. Her body slammed against unseen rocks beneath the surface. Her lungs screamed for air. Up. Which way was up? Darkness surrounded her. The current twisted her again. Then suddenly, she broke the surface. Ava gasped violently, pulling in air as the river carried her away from the gunfire, from the soldiers, from death, at least for now. But the fight wasn't over. Not even close. Minutes later, the current finally weakened. Ava forced her body toward the shore, her muscles trembling from exhaustion. She clawed at the mud, dragging herself out of the water inch by inch. Every movement hurt. Every breath burned. Finally, she collapsed on the riverbank. Still, silent, barely alive. Time passed. She didn't know how much. Minutes, maybe longer. The cold began to sink deep into her bones, making her shiver uncontrollably. Her clothes were soaked. Her body was bruised and battered. But she was alive. And that meant one thing. She couldn't stop. Ava slowly pushed herself up, wincing in pain. She checked her gear. The loss hit her immediately. Her rifle, gone. Ammo, mostly gone. Supplies, damaged. She had almost nothing left. Ava clenched her jaw. Keep moving, she whispered to herself. It wasn't just an order. It was survival. The forest ahead was dense, dark, quiet. Too quiet. Ava stepped carefully, every sense on high alert. Without her primary weapon, she was vulnerable. One mistake now would be the end. Her stomach twisted with hunger. Her throat felt dry despite the water she'd just escaped. She was weakening. Fast. Then, a sound. Distant. Voices again. Ava's body tensed instantly. They were still searching, even out here. She quickly dropped low and moved into thicker cover, using the terrain to hide her movement. Her breathing slowed again. Controlled. Deliberate. She had to disappear. Completely. Hours passed as Ava moved deeper into the forest, avoiding open areas, sticking to shadows. Every step was calculated, every sound analyzed. At one point, she found a small abandoned structure, half destroyed, barely standing. Carefully, she approached. Cleared it. Empty. Inside, she found scraps, old cloth, a rusted container, and a small knife. Not much, but enough. She cleaned her wounds as best as she could, tearing fabric to wrap them. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't safe, but it was something. For a brief moment, she sat there, still, alone. The silence pressed in around her. And then it hit her. Her team. Their faces flashed in her mind, their voices, the way they moved together like a unit, like family. Gone. All of them. Ava's breathing slowed, her eyes lowered, and for the first time since the ambush, she broke. Tears slipped down her face, mixing with dirt and dried blood. Her shoulders shook slightly as the weight of everything crashed down on her. The loss, the fear, the isolation. It was too much. She was alone in enemy territory with no way out, no backup, no guarantee she would ever make it home. For a moment, she wanted to give up. Just for a second. Then, a sound snapped her back. Distant engines. Her expression changed instantly. Focus returned. She moved quickly to the edge of the structure and looked out carefully. Through the trees, she saw it. Lights. Movement. A base. Enemy-controlled. Guards, vehicles, resources. Her eyes narrowed. Dangerous. Very dangerous. But also an opportunity. Ava wiped her fears from her face. Her expression hardened. The fear was still there, the pain was still there, but something else had taken over now. Determination, cold, focused, unbreakable. "They think I'm running," she whispered. Her grip tightened on the knife. A slight, dangerous calm settled over her. "They're wrong." Ava stepped back into the shadows, not away from the base, but towards it. The base pulsed with life. Lights cut through the darkness. Guards moved in patterns. Vehicles rumbled quietly in the distance. It was heavily secured, heavily armed, and completely hostile. And Ava Carter was walking straight toward it. Hidden in the shadows of the forest, she lay low, watching, learning. Every movement mattered now. Her breathing slowed, steady and controlled, as her eyes tracked the guards. One at the north entrance, lazy, shifting his weight. Two patrolling the fence line, disciplined, alert. A tower further back, sniper position. Too many angles, too many risks, but also patterns. Ava studied them for what felt like hours, counting steps, timing rotations, noticing the smallest details others would ignore. One guard checked his watch every few minutes. Another smoked at the same corner every single round. A gap. Small, but real. Ava's mind began building a plan. No backup, no second chances, no mistakes. Midnight. The base settled into a quieter rhythm, but not safer, never safer. Ava moved, low to the ground, silent, invisible. She slipped from one shadow to another, blending into darkness like she belonged there. Every step was placed with precision. Even the sound of her breathing was controlled. Closer, closer. The outer fence loomed ahead. Barbed wire, metal, death if detected. She crouched near it, scanning once more. The guard who smoked, right on time, stepped away from his post, distracted. There it was, the moment. Ava moved fast. She cut through a weak section near the base, just enough to slip through without making noise. The metal barely shifted as she eased inside. Now she was in. Inside enemy territory. Inside the lion's den. Every instinct told her to turn back, but she didn't. She pushed forward. A soldier's voice echoed nearby. Ava froze instantly, pressing herself against a wall, barely visible in the dim light. The footsteps came closer, then past. Gone. She exhaled slowly, one step at a time. She moved deeper into the base, her eyes constantly scanning for threats and opportunities. Then, footsteps again. Too close this time. Ava turned and locked eyes with an enemy soldier. For a split second, both froze. Shock, recognition, decision. Ava moved first. She lunged forward, grabbing him before he could shout. Her hand covered his mouth as she drove the knife forward, fast, precise, silent, efficient. The soldier's body went still. Ava caught him before he hit the ground, lowering him carefully into the shadows. No noise, no alarm. But her heart was pounding harder now. There was no going back. She kept moving, faster now, more focused. She spotted a structure ahead, larger, more guarded. Communications. It had to be. Two guards stood outside, alert, disciplined, no easy way through. Ava crouched behind a stack of crates, thinking. Direct attack? Too risky. Stealth? Not enough cover. She needed something bigger, something louder, a distraction. Her eyes scanned the area again, then landed on it. Fuel storage. Unstable, explosive. Ava's expression hardened. That'll work. Minutes later, she was in position, hidden behind the storage tanks, setting up a quick sabotage using what little she had left. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't safe, but it didn't need to be. It just needed to be enough. She stepped back, moving quickly into cover, and waited. 3 seconds. 2. 1. Boom. The explosion tore through the base like a thunderclap. Fire shot into the sky. The ground shook violently. Alarms screamed instantly, breaking the night apart. Chaos. Exactly what she needed. Guards ran in every direction. Orders were shouted. Confusion spread like wildfire. Ava moved. Fast. She broke from cover, heading straight toward the communications building. The guards outside had abandoned their positions, rushing toward the explosion. The path was clear. For now. Inside, dim lighting, equipment, radios, control panels. Hope. Ava rushed to the main console, her hands moving quickly as she tried to bring the system online. Come on, she muttered. Static. Then, signal. Weak, but there. She grabbed the mic. This is Sergeant Ava Carter. Her voice was low but urgent. In enemy territory. Request immediate extraction. Coordinates. Static cut in and out. She repeated it again and again, hoping, praying that someone heard it. Then, a sound behind her. A click. She turned. Too late. A soldier fired. The bullet grazed her shoulder, spinning her sideways. Pain exploded through her body, but she didn't fall. She fired back instantly. One shot. The soldier dropped. But more were coming, shouting, footsteps. They knew. Ava grabbed what she could and moved, fast. Gunfire erupted inside the building as soldiers flooded in. Bullets slammed into walls, glass shattered, sparks flew from damaged equipment. Ava ducked, rolled, fired back. Every move was instinct. Every shot mattered. She took down one, then another. But there were too many. Way too many. She couldn't hold this position. Not for long. She burst out of cover, sprinting into the chaos outside. The entire base was awake now. Floodlights snapped on, sweeping across the area. Searching. Hunting. Her. Gunfire followed her instantly. Ava weaved through cover, her body pushing beyond its limits. Pain shot through her shoulder, her legs burned, her vision blurred. But she didn't stop. Couldn't stop. She spotted the outer fence again. Freedom, or at least, a chance at it. But between her and that fence, soldiers. Dozens of them, blocking her path. Ava slowed for just a second, her breathing heavy, her body screaming, her mind calculating. No clear way out, no backup yet, no guarantees. Just one final truth. If she stopped now, she would die here. Ava raised her weapon, her grip steady, her eyes cold, determined. They want a fight, she whispered. A faint, fearless edge crept into her voice. They got one. She stepped forward, ready to face them all. The sound grew louder. At first, it was distant, just a faint vibration in the night sky. Then it became unmistakable. Helicopters. Ava's grip tightened on the steering wheel as the truck bounced violently across the rough terrain. Her body ached, her vision blurred, and blood slowly dripped down her arm from the wound in her shoulder. Behind her, enemy vehicles still chased, relentless, closing in. Gunfire echoed again, bullets slamming into the back of the truck. Metal screamed, glass shattered further. The vehicle wouldn't hold much longer. But Ava's focus wasn't behind her anymore. It was above. The helicopters were closer now. Their silhouettes cut through the dark sky, moving fast, powerful, controlled. But one question burned in her mind. Friend or enemy? A spotlight from above suddenly cut through the darkness, sweeping across the ground. Ava squinted, trying to see. The beam moved, then locked onto her truck. Her heart pounded. "Don't be them," she whispered. The radio inside the truck crackled weakly, barely functioning. Static. Then a voice. Broken, faint. "To identify vehicle, respond." Ava's eyes widened. That wasn't the enemy. That was U.S. military, she shouted, grabbing the mic, her voice urgent, desperate. "This is Sergeant Ava Carter. Friendly. Friendly! I'm being pursued. Need immediate support. Static answered her, then silence. For a second, nothing. No response, no confirmation. Her heart sank. Come on, please, she whispered. Behind her, the enemy vehicles surged closer. One pulled up on her left, matching speed. A soldier leaned out, weapon raised, aiming directly at her. Ava swerved hard, but this time the road betrayed her. The truck skidded, losing balance for a split second. Gunfire erupted. A bullet tore through her side. Pain exploded through her body. Ava gasped, nearly losing control of the wheel. Her vision blurred, dark spots creeping in at the edges. But she didn't stop. Couldn't stop. Not now, not this close. The helicopter above shifted position. Then, a voice came through again. Clear this time. Strong. Sergeant Carter, this is Falcon Unit. We have your signal. Hold your position. We're engaging. Ava's breath caught. They heard her. They were real. And they were here. In an instant, everything changed. The helicopters descended slightly, their weapons locking onto the pursuing enemy vehicles. Then, they opened fire. The night exploded into chaos once again, but this time it wasn't against her. It was for her. Missiles streaked through the air, slamming into the ground behind her. One of the enemy vehicles erupted into flames, flipping violently as it was torn apart. Another tried to break away. Too late. Gunfire from above shredded it in seconds. The remaining vehicles scattered, disorganized, desperate. Ava pushed forward, her truck barely holding together, engine screaming as it struggled across the terrain. Her breathing was shallow now. Every movement hurt. Her strength was fading fast. Carter, hold on, the voice came again through the radio. We're clearing a path. Extraction point ahead. Keep moving. Ava nodded instinctively, even though they couldn't see her. Copy, she managed, her voice weak but determined. Her eyes locked forward. Through the dust and darkness, she saw it. A clearing, open, marked, extraction point. But she wasn't there yet, and her body was giving out. Her hands trembled on the wheel, her vision blurred again, this time worse. The edges of the world began to fade. No, not now, not after everything. Ava gritted her teeth, forcing herself to stay conscious. Stay with it, she whispered. The truck hit a rough patch, bouncing violently. The engine sputtered dangerously. It wasn't going to last. Behind her, one last enemy vehicle emerged from the chaos. Damaged, but still coming, still chasing, still refusing to let her go. Ava saw it in the side mirror. Her jaw tightened. Not today, she muttered. She didn't have much left, but she had enough. As the vehicle closed in, Ava made a decision. One final risk, one final move. She steered the truck sharply towards uneven terrain, pushing it beyond its limits. The vehicle shook violently, nearly losing control. But she held it steady. The enemy followed. Closer, closer. Then, Ava slammed the brakes, hard. The truck skidded sideways, forcing the pursuing vehicle to react too late. It swerved, lost control, and rolled, crashing into the ground with a violent explosion. Silence followed. For just a moment, Ava exhaled weakly. It was over. Finally. The extraction point was right ahead now. The helicopter descended lower, kicking dust and debris as it prepared to land. Ava pushed the truck one last time. Then it died. The engine gave out completely. The vehicle rolled to a stop just meters from safety. Ava sat there for a second, still, silent, her body numb, her strength gone. The door opened, or maybe she fell out. She wasn't sure. The ground hit hard beneath her, but she barely felt it. Voices rushed towards her, boots, shouting, movement. Strong hands grabbed her, lifting her carefully. You're safe, someone said. We've got you. Safe. The echo rang in her mind. Safe. After everything, she made it. As they carried her to the helicopter, Ava's vision faded in and out. The battlefield behind her burned in the distance, the place where she lost everything, the place where she refused to die. Inside the helicopter, medics worked quickly, applying pressure to her wounds, stabilizing her. But Ava's focus drifted. Her eyes slowly closed, then opened again, just for a moment. She looked back, one last time, at the darkness she escaped, at the war she survived, at the impossible odds she defeated. Her breathing slowed. Her body finally gave in. But her fight was over, and she had won.